Welcome to Module 6 of Advancing Field Safety, Keeping Diverse Field Teams Safe. When we embark on fieldwork, we often bring a diverse team of individuals with us. However, not all field workers face the same risks, challenges, and barriers when going into the field. We must consider how to adapt our field safety preparations for every field experience as we bring all different identities and lived experiences into the field. You may be wondering why we are spending time on exploring topics related to the safety of people with different identities going into the field, rather than just thinking about research in the field and the safety related to it. We think it is important to explore this topic because it is people who do that research in the field. It is people collecting data and ultimately making sure the safety of everyone in the field is planned for and considered. People are critical to making sure that fieldwork goes well and that data is collected well. People present in the locations in which we do fieldwork can present additional safety and comfort considerations to people on a field team with certain identities. These safety considerations can present real barriers to the safe participation of such field team members as well. However, when the format of the fieldwork activities is intentionally envisioned and developed, we can mitigate such risks and lower barriers. For example, there are some gas stations in some locations within the United States that outwardly display hate symbols towards some demographics and could present a safety hazard to some people who stop there. If we put thought and intention into which gas stations or rest stops to stop at for bathroom breaks ahead of going into the field when traveling with a diverse team, we can reduce potential safety risks. To prevent potential harm to individuals with others within a team from microaggressions, bullying, harassment, and other inappropriate or discriminatory behaviors, it is important for field safety plans and codes of conduct within those plans to include mitigation and corrective measures, as we discussed in Modules 3 and 4. Recent efforts to include harassment, bullying, and discrimination as conditions of research misconduct and to recognize their harm to people and the research process provide additional justification for why these behaviors need to be formally addressed in safety plans. In order to guide our thinking about how we can build the safest fieldwork experience possible for our teams, we will share with you 5 identity lenses, which Parker McMullen Bushman will shortly provide context for in this module to consider as you envision a welcoming, inclusive, and safe field environment. These lenses include race and ethnicity, gender and sexual orientation, trans inclusivity, accessibility and disability, cultural differences, and economic equity and inequity. For simplicity, we will explore each of these identity lenses separately, but we acknowledge, of course, that people are multidimensional. We also acknowledge that there are even more lenses, for example, age, not considered here, that can be relevant to the individuals on your own field team. Each individual may have more than one marginalized identity and experiences that disproportionately impact them or force them to navigate overlapping dynamics of discrimination. This is referred to as intersectionality, a term first coined by legal scholar Kimberly Crenshaw. Identity taxation presents challenges to women of color who have to grapple with multiple marginality, which refers to the intersection of marginalized identities of gender, racial minority, sexual orientation, social class, and culture. This means that some people will likely have to navigate additional compounding challenges related to their various identities, more so than others. Before we get started, let's take a moment to reflect on our own identities and how they may have shaped our own experiences in the field. These experiences can be positive, negative, or neutral. Because the focus of our work together here is prioritizing people's safety, we will be discussing ways that discriminatory behaviors or assumptions disproportionately influence people with different identities. Think about how you and your team could be proactive in keeping everyone on your field team safe. If you don't know everyone on your field team, think about how you can keep those on the team who you do know, like yourself, safe. What are some other considerations to take into account regarding the identities of folks different to your own? We encourage you to work with everyone on your team to consider what needs within your team, perhaps specifically informed by others' identities, require addressing to keep everyone on the field team safe. Throughout this module, we challenge you to think about the following learning objectives for each lens. Evaluate how field experiences could be impacted due to individual identities. Identify actions your team can take to mitigate risks that could jeopardize the safety of people in the field with intersecting identities. Create preemptive field safety and risk assessment plans or guidance documents to help you think about and take action on safety matters as they relate to different identities. Consider how to be inclusive without excluding, and create spaces where your team can exchange honest feedback. Recognize that people's identities do not create risks. Some people are made more vulnerable because of their identities, and discriminatory behaviors create risks. We are being intentional about how we explore these identity lenses and what people need to consider for the safety of people with these identities. This module is not designed to share every possible scenario that one could encounter due to identities of participants, but rather to provide background to consider how to mitigate potentially problematic situations within your field context and field team.
Yeah, I'm happy to share about the identity lens framework. Um, when we talk about, thinking or considering identity in the way that people move throughout the world, right? I think it's important to consider this in our work. We have to understand how things like ableism, racism, sexism, homophobia, poverty might impact the way people are perceived as they move through the world, and might also impact the way that people do work, the way that they're able to successfully complete projects, and other things. And so the identity review lenses are divided up into kind of four areas. We have accessibility, race and ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, trans inclusivity, and socioeconomic review lenses. And the premise is that we can look at programs, we can look at the work that we are doing through these review lenses to make sure that we are cognizant and inclusive, providing spaces that are going to be inclusive and welcoming for people with different identity lenses.
Without further ado, let's get into it.